The Prince of Diplomats, Talleyrand. That's how you say it. Because he survived from regime to regime, kind of like, he says, Dick Cheney, except without the scowl. An operations research student here at MPS, he is giving manual speech number 3, Get to the Point. It's a 5 to 7 minute speech entitled An Unfinished Assignment. Please welcome Brian Squires.
One of my earliest academic memories is Mrs. Cummings' class. We would arrive, collect a fat pencil and a sheet of paper, and we would copy a paragraph from the board. On this particular day, it read, "At last, after 444 days, the American hostages are free." So I dutifully transcribed the passage from the board, drew a picture of an airplane and an American flag, and the next day I was rewarded with a smiley face, the highest award in our class, for my outstanding handwriting and enthusiastic artwork. So what I wanted to do today was to return to my earlier groundbreaking work in the topic and talk a little bit about the origins of the Iranian hostage crisis and the role it played in the larger Iranian revolution. For many years, Western nations, US included, had supported the Iranian monarch Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi. In 1953, the CIA had gone so far as to stage a coup to prop up his ailing regime. As late as December 1978, President Jimmy Carter, on a tour of the Middle East, had hailed the Shah as a great friend of America. But a few weeks later, on January 16, 1979, the Shah was forced to flee Iran amid a popular uprising against his repressive regime. Kept secret during the last 5 years of his reign was the fact that the Shah had lymphoma, a cancer of the lymphatic system. And after several months, he was permitted to enter the United States for medical treatment. You can perhaps connect the dots in the mind of a young Iranian revolutionary. See, the CIA, the US, and the Shah together again. Might there be another coup to place the Shah back in power? No, we can't have that. And so, on November 4th, 1979, Iranian students snuck into the US Embassy in Tehran. They took 52 Americans hostage, State Department officials and the Marine Guard detachment. They demanded the return of the Shah to Iran to face trial. The students made their best effort to portray the embassy as a den of American spies. In fact, there were 3 CIA officers among the hostages, but clandestine activity out of the embassy was pretty non-existent. Since 1953, the CIA had relied more and more on the Shah's internal security apparatus to give them information. And in fact, the CIA had been largely surprised by the recent January uprisings. The students had planned only a short takeover, but larger forces were at work. The spiritual driver of the recent revolution was the Ayatollah Khomeini. He had returned to Iran after the Shah had fled. And although he had been greeted by throngs of cheering Iranians, he was not yet firmly in control of the country. He saw an opportunity in the crisis to consolidate his power. There was to be a constitutional referendum. And this constitution that he was proposing would place the clergy and, by extension, Khomeini at the peaks of power in Iran. Khomeini was able to twist the hostage crisis, fan the flames of anti-Americanism by pointing at the Americans hostages as spies. He was able to paint opponents of his constitutional referendum as American stooges. Are you soft on America? And in some cases, Khomeini supporters were able to take documents seized from the embassy and mark their political opponents as U.S. agents. Khomeini's referendum passes, not surprisingly. And today, Iran is still ruled by its clergy. Now, late in 1980, the hostages are still hostage, but a nearby dictator, Saddam Hussein, senses an opportunity to profit from the chaos in Iran. And so he does what a sensible dictator should do, and he invades Iran. The hostages now have largely fulfilled Khomeini's purposes. They've helped to bring down the Carter administration, and Iran needs military assistance. So the hostages are released a short time later. January 20th, 1981, the hostages are returned to the United States, and of course the next day I write my grand treatise on the affair. Now what I've hoped to leave you with today is just a little appreciation for the origins of the Iranian hostage crisis, and an appreciation for the larger forces that co-opted the original crisis to further the agenda of the Ayatollah Khomeini. Now it is likely that I've caused you more questions than I have answered, and for those of you who are so inclined, I would like to point you to my original award-winning paper on the affair. However, the publisher, Rose Hill Elementary, is no longer in business. And so, as a great starting point, I would point to Mark Bowden's recent work, Guests of the Ayatollah, as a wonderful starting point for understanding this important event in world history.